A guy can't go into a barber and get a haircut like another guy.
Yeah.
So I say, short on the sides, I want to grow it out a little bit on the top. And she says to me, oh, you want the Pat McAfee? We've been doing lots of those. And I said, yes, give me the Pat McAfee. But I was embarrassed. I felt like, she should not have thought I wanted to look like Pat McAfee just because I wanted it short on the side and a little longer on top. I admit he has a very nice head of hair, but that's not what I was going for.
What do you think it's going to take for someone to say, I want the Chael P Sonnen?
This was in Westland, Oregon. She should have. I said, by the way, do you know who I am? I really said that to her. And I don't pull that one very often. I said, I'm the king of this town. I'm the king of this town. And I gave her a bill at the end of the night. She tried to give me change. I said, you don't tip the king. And she remembered me next time. Quinn, it's a true story. I hope Quinn sees this. Where would it possibly come in that I wanted the Pat McAfee?
You wanted the Schmohawk.
I wanted the Schmohawk. More than why would they say Pat McAfee? Your hair is shorter on the sides and longer on the top. She could have said you want the Schmo.
This is the Schmo with the pro. He's undefeated. He's undisputed. He's got the biggest arms west of the Mississippi. Is he the mayor of Westland, Oregon yet? He's the YouTuber, the podcaster, the former fighter, the jack of all trades, Chael P Sonnen in the flesh.
All juiced up.
UFC 310, how we doing?
Most guys quit juicing post-career. I don't. Look at the size of these. And nobody suspects you. When you're not competing, they don't suspect you. What's the topic?
How we doing?
Well, I'm famous and rich, plus I'm here with you. That's nice. I got a couple of Venuses, I'm staring at here. I'd say everything's kind of going my way, frankly.
That's right. Did you make your naughty and nice list yet, man? We got the Christmas tree behind us. It's the final UFC pay-per-view card of 2024.
Do you know about Elf on the Shelf? That's new. That wasn't a thing like when I was growing up. And you can't touch the elf. If you touch the elf, he loses his power. So I have a son that's going on 10. I have a daughter that turned 7 yesterday. So he thinks it's funny to threaten to touch the elf all day long. So then she goes into hysterics, and it's a whole thing. It's this whole thing. And then there's 25 days of Elf on the Shelf. You've got to touch him with like this Michael Jackson glove on, and it's only with one hand. If you touch him with anything else, he will lose his power. I think he even leaves your house, and then he flies around at night. So each day you get up and you got to go find the elf. It's very cool. It was very clever. You want to know what my daughter said? She said she thinks that I moved the elf at night, and her evidence is that she looked at the elf and he has a tag. And a tag is what things that are sold at the store have.
Sounds like chaos in the Sonnen household during holiday season.
It was a little bit of a mess, and I said, no, you're looking at his shirt. His shirt has a tag the same as your shirt, honey. And she said, no, I look close, Dad. It's got a tag like he was for sale.
Okay.
A ridiculous claim.
We've heard worse, but talk to the Schmo for a second. We can circle back to the Christmas stuff, but it's the last pay-per-view of 2024. You got Shavkhat, Rakhmonov, you got Ian Garry. Someone's always got to go. Co-main event, some people call it the people's main event. But what's impressed you the most from Ian Machado Garry? What do you like about the guy?
I love that you just said someone's O must go, because that in the world of marketing works every time. It can be baseball, it can be football. You got to go back to Spinks versus Tyson. The only reason Dana White has never stooped to that level, he's never been able to. He's never had a feature fight where both guys were undefeated. This is a ridiculous record. If you tried to tell somebody about Shavkhat Rakhmonov and he's finished every fight, they would probably think you were lying. That's a case of folklore where there's not actual evidence, but meaning some people say it, most people have died. I'm just saying it is ridiculous how successful he has been. And then you got Ian Garry. Ian Garry's fought this guy 100 times. It was sparring and it was practice, but these guys both know how this fight is going to go. They can put on whatever act they want. They both know how this fight is going to go, and neither one of them hesitated to sign that contract. As a matter of fact, the UFC added 2 rounds. Neither one of them argued about the 2 rounds. It's not for a title, which they both are qualified for. It's not even a main event. They got a new guy that's never fought in the organization that's going to close the show out over them. And these guys did not flinch. When you have really great fights, it's when 2 guys really think they're going to win, and that is extremely uncommon. It is generally an act. Both guys walk out there knowing what's going to happen tonight, or what's most likely going to happen. Sometimes you have 2 guys that don't follow the script, and throughout the training session, or think that was too long ago, or I learned something, or I was gaming you at the time and you're not aware of it, and I'm going to double cross you on Saturday. And Ian Garry's either one wonderful actor or he really believes he's going to win this fight.
Well, he admitted that he was submitted. He was open to that, saying that to the media. Do you think that gives him less of an edge going into Saturday evening, having that psychologically in the back of his mind?
You know, there's a couple of ways to look at it, and I saw it the other way. I thought that it empowered him. Let me give you an example. But TJ Dillashaw was getting ready to fight Cody Garbrandt, and there was this huge thing about a knockout in practice and getting two guys different stories, and finally, like, this tape emerges, and then they're arguing over the tape. And I just remember as a viewer going, I couldn't possibly care less what happened in practice, and I also don't see how it's relevant. Like if one guy's telling the truth or he's not, or one guy got knocked down and the other guy did the punching. I didn't understand why it mattered, and I kind of felt like Ian Garry saying, yes, that happened. I kind of thought it was empowering. You know, I've been in practice situations, and you give your partner, you get back up, and you're trying to get a workout more than you are trying to win. I kind of respect it about Garry. I think a lot of things about Garry is he's very immature, but there's some other things I see about him, and he handles things like a very seasoned veteran.
Who would you say is the hottest prospect for Chael P Sonnen of these names? Shavkhat, Rakhmonov, or would you put in a Khamzat, Chimaev, and heck, throw in Bo Nickal? We'll give you an extra tickle. Who would you say of those three?
Well, I'm going to roll with Bo, but I will tell you, Chimaev is red hot, and the only reason I give Bo the edge is Bo will fight tomorrow, and he'll fight anywhere in the world. And Chimaev himself has said he's got a little trouble getting around, so you know, he's limited. What he shows us has been impressive. I mean, he beat Kamar Usman, but it took a whole year until he fought Robert Whittaker. Those are two really hard matches. History of the UFC says, beat a world champion, you get a fight for a world championship. He's now beaten two world champions. I mean, Chimaev is awesome, but one of the things that's most impressive about him is how dominant he's been and that he's undefeated. I will just remind you, Bo is also dominant and Bo is also undefeated.
Where does Kevin Lee fit in this?
Kevin Lee beat all these guys. Kevin Lee would beat all these guys. Kevin Lee was going to fight not that long ago in Scumbag Knuckle Promotions. And he ended up pulling off the card, and they were even advertising the day. I was excited. I was texting him, hey, you got to weigh in. How's your weight doing? And, I don't know what Kevin Lee's doing, but yeah, Kevin Lee could beat all those guys, particularly at 170. He never really got his chance. He was at 55. They bumped him up to 70 when he was coming off an injury. Like, I don't think that people really got to see Kevin go out there and give it his best. I know you were joking when you said that, but Kevin Lee's a damn good fighter.
If Chael Sonnen was making the MMA rankings for heavyweight...
Kevin Lee one time tried to go to Russia to fight Islam. He called him out and tried to get the fight while he secretly knew he needed MCL surgery. That's how tough Kevin Lee is. That's a true story.
There it is. Now, if you were making the MMA rankings in the heavyweight division, if you were ranking these three fighters 1 through 3, how would you rank them? Schmo's not going to list them in his order, but we're just going to say the names. Tom Aspinall, Francis Ngannou, John Jones.
Okay. Here's the thing. And you probably have the right guy. I would have thrown Pierre in and knocked Francis out, but I think it's fair the way that you gave the list. Here's the thing. We have never in UFC history, and I mean never, you can start with Dan Severn, who handed it to Mark Coleman, who handed it to Randy Couture, who slipped a Kevin Randleman in there, who handed it to Daniel Cormier. We have never had wrestling more underrepresented. We not only don't have an NCAA wrestler in the top 10. I'm not talking about an All-American. I'm not talking about an Olympian and a world team member and medalist. We don't have a single NCAA wrestler under contract in the heavyweight division. It has never happened before. The highest achieving wrestler the heavyweight division has is John Jones, who won the Junior College National Championship, which is a very, very good honor. Wrestling still dominates. And by the way, the second highest ranking wrestler that we had was Stipe Miocic, who was a participant at the NCAA tournament at 197. That was your world title fight. And before that, it was our Olympian Daniel Cormier. Wrestling still rules the day, and they don't have a single one under contract. So to recognize any of those guys, like, hey, way to go, you did something good. Well, you did something good at a pretty easy time.
There it is, Chael. Have you made your naughty or nice list?
Have you met Tom Aspinall?
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy.
He is.
I mean, I reached out, like, he just looked. I said, "Damn, Tom, I didn't know you were so big."
Thick as a brick.
Yeah, man, he was going like 270, and he travels around with his dad. I like that. Tom, he's on the straight and narrow.
And his dad's so much smaller than him.
Yeah.
Andy. Shout out to Andy Aspinall.
Yeah, and he's a regular guy. As a matter of fact, it wasn't Tom that asked this question. It was his dad that asked the question to Hunter Campbell. Can I get my son a beer? And this was at Madison Square Garden. And Hunter Campbell wrote him back and was dead serious and said, not until the main event starts. but it was the dad. The dad's like, hey, man, I got my son out here. I put him through hell of a training camp. We're watching this whole car. We've been here 6 hours. We're in a party. Can I get him a beer? And Hunter told him no, and they did not have it until that main event started. But I kind of like that the dad, let his son let his hair down a little bit. Everybody's got to let their hair down a little bit.
What do you make of Merab Dvalishvili going in Dana White's office the other night saying, I want to fight Umar Nurmagomedov, and they make the fight? That's what's going down UFC 311 next month in Los Angeles. Co-main event. Him against Umar.
Merab's not playing around. People keep thinking Merab's playing around, or they think that Merab's silly, and I just don't know where it came from. I don't know. I don't know if he's looked like a nice guy to somebody, or if they think the dance is cute. I have no idea. There is nothing about the way Merab fights or trains where he's playing around. And he is one of those guys. He's a competitor first. You can take the money and you can take the fame. You can shove it up your ass. He's a competitor first. Umar came at him the right way, which means Ali got Umar to come at him the right way. But either way, right, I mean, there's a reason that Ali makes more money than any other manager in the sport. He knows what he's doing, and it worked. But I mean, play with. There's some guys you don't play with. Merab is one of them guys.
So who do you think Suga Sean O'Malley should be fighting next now that he's not in the equation?
He should be fighting Merab. They never even gave Sean a chance. They never gave Sean a chance for 2 in a row. He gets in the ring with Cheeto, and there's Merab. They've already announced he's got to fight Merab after this. So they give him the microphone. He starts steering the crowd just as a troll job towards Ilia Topuria. The crowd goes crazy for it. He has no opportunity to do what he does so well, which is go to a press conference and influence his fans. He has to go fight Merab. Okay, fine. So he goes and fights Merab to close out the highest gate in the history of the UFC. Not even Conor can't even touch what they did that night with O'Malley versus Merab. And they put Umar in the front row and tell him he's got to fight him. When Sean's looking around going, give me a little breathing room. Davidson Figueiredo's right over here. I mean, not for nothing. Like, there's some other hammers. Let me think a little bit. He's got to fight 2 guys at once. They did it to him twice. Sean O'Malley should be fighting Merab. That's who.
Well, Chael P Sonnen, you already got Schmo-like glasses. We love the belt buckle. We might as well give you some Schmo glasses at this point. Everyone says we look alike. Why not just do the full thing this time?
I appreciate that. Are these? These are kind of cool. All right, let's.
Real deal.
Now, contrary to what you may or may not know, my glasses are
prescription.
Yes.
That's what you tell the Schmo.
Yes. For more than X-ray vision. My vision is perfect as it is, but there's to be more than X-ray vision. I like the Schmo glasses.
You could have some Schmo vision now, Chael.
Oh yeah. What do you think?
Who's who?
Would Miss Helen know us apart?
I don't know. It's like that Spider-Man meme. Ding, ding, ding.
Brittany, what do you think? Brittany approves.
Naughty or nice list. Have you made that yet? Just wrapping this thing up. For Christmas, have you made your naughty and nice list?
You have to understand, I am very, very rich. Like, there's nothing out there that I want that I wouldn't have already bought, so I don't have to be good. And what's funny about it is I got rich being naughty. So it's a little bit contrary to what they've been telling you most of your life.
Wow.
Am I a team player for putting these glasses on?
You're a team player.
Team player?
Well, can we try to... Well, how's your voice?
Would have Hans done this?
I don't think so.
Would Sean O'Malley? Sean would have done it.
Probably.
Strickland?
Nah, that's actually a good question.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
He might. I'm going to go with most likely. Why don't you try that? I actually want to see if you give. I'm going to go with no unless you. If Helen asks him, he'll do it. I say if you ask him, he won't. I'm just making a prediction. That's my prediction. Let's get. I actually want you to do this. Go to Extreme Couture and ask Sean O'Malley to put on some Schmo glasses. I mean, Sean Strickland.
To be determined. Final message.
Hey, by the way, Bryce Mitchell. Got asked something about Sean Strickland at the press conference, and then he answered it, and he started talking about Teslas, and do they got heat? Is there something between Bryce Mitchell and Sean Strickland?
No, they're good friends.
Oh, okay.
They just have different thoughts on Teslas.
Oh, all right, just on Tesla. All right, because they seem more alike than they do different, but all right, that makes sense.
final message for all the Chael Sonnen fans out there worldwide.
I used to train with Sean. Met Sean Strickland, the Rain Training Center. He's 21 years old. Little liar. What a liar. He comes in the room and we start working out and he tells me he's 17-0 and he's the King of the Cage champion. And you can't get 17 fights at 21 years old. It's not, you can't do it. No commission would give you that many fights. And I remember leaving and telling Miss Brittany, that guy says he's 17-0. And she's like, do you think he's lying? I go, well, he's either lying. I said, but he would be 17-0. If he's had 17 fights, he would have won them all. That guy is really good. Went on to be a world champion. Very, very proud of him.
Undefeated, undisputed, Chael Sonnen. He's the pro. I'm the Schmo. Sin City, Las Vegas. Final pay-per-view of the year. We're out.